Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Welcome back to the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, back again as always with your co-host, Chris Coles-Colson. Christopher, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Today we are joined once again, also, by the man some have accused of having a worse Twitter account than Magic Johnson. It's Mr. Jared Borslow, a.k.a. J-Bone, a.k.a. Sir J-Bone.
I haven't seen any of these accusations. I mean, Magic Johnson has terrible takes. I have good takes. His takes are literally like if you read it off of an evening news, local news like script. That's what his takes are. They're not even takes. They're statements of fact. I only put out fresh, hot meat. On
My
Twitter
point
account.
stands, Jared. My point stands.
I don't know if I've ever podcasted. Actually, one time I have with sunglasses on, but we were about to start recording. I look over, Ross has sunglasses on. I look over, Chris has sunglasses on. So I just threw mine on, but it's kind of weird because I have this thing with sunglasses where I feel like I'm watching a TV show of my life.
What?
I kind of like that.
So I'm not kidding. This is a weird take of mine. Okay, for years
I thought you only had fresh, hot, steaming hot fire takes.
This is a hot take. For years of my life, I've probably taken off years of corneal action with my eyeballs because I refuse to wear sunglasses sometimes because it feels less relaxing to me because I feel like I'm watching a TV show of my life and not living my own life.
Hashtag corneal what?
Years
action?
Years of corneal action off of
Hashtag corneal
my eyes.
action.
Again, I don't know if this is like a criminally insane. Like now people are judging me.
Absolutely not. I kind of get what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like right now. I kind of feel like I'm dissociating.
That's
and
what it is.
Sitting back.
It's slightly dissociating.
Yes.
And I like that element of it. It's not only dissociating from me, like it's less pressure that I'm a human. I feel like I'm watching a human.
Yes.
But it's also, I feel like it's dissociating for the other people because they can't see my eyeballs.
Fun fact, Mitch Hedberg, the very famous comedian,
Yeah.
always wore sunglasses for this exact reason.
Look,
He would oftentimes on stage close his eyes behind his sunglasses too.
we've spent, frankly, a shitload of time on this show over the years talking about sunglasses. I have a lot of takes on people who have been able to pull off sunglasses indoors that nobody complains about. P. Diddy being one of the ones that I look to immediately in my mind. Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him. You've seen that man like twice without sunglasses on in your entire life. And it was in films, mostly. Mm-hmm. And that's because he has terrible eyes. Absolutely terrible, tiny, beady, terrifying eyes. He needs those sunglasses to look good.
to protect us.
So frankly, yeah.
It's like a Medusa thing.
It's like Cyclops from X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah. He takes them off, we're all burnt.
It's like, oh, fuck, put him back on. I'm absolutely cool with P. Diddy rocking the shades all of the time for that reason. But as I've discussed in the past, there are other reasons that people should be allowed to wear shades indoors. And if you're depressed, you've recently been crying, they don't have to be connected, you're very stoned, or perhaps you're having a lot of trouble sleeping recently, and as a result, your eyes look like shit, that can impact the entire look of your whole face. So all you have to do is throw on some shades. Like, look, I haven't showered. I slept like ass the last 2 days, and I feel generally terrible, but nobody on youtube.com/Bolen Media knows that. I just look like I'm fucking,
Wait, is it
slightly antisocial.
Ross Bolen podcast now? Did we change that URL?
I don't even know if it wouldn't let me change the URL. You know how when you change a YouTube thing, it's like you have to have X amount of time has to pass and or you have to gain X amount of followers before you can alter some certain aspects of the channel. So yeah, for those of you who have been watching on YouTube, I'm not exactly sure what the URL is at the moment, but YouTube.
If you are watching on YouTube, I'd like to point out something that I just noticed. I'd like to show that Ross and J-Bone are both wearing sunglasses derived of the Wayfarer style. So I would just like to maybe associate the Wayfarer style with the millennial generation, while potentially the Gen Z generation has elevated their sunglass style to more of a circular, rounded style. Maybe a difference in generation here? I don't know, just an observation.
I would not say elevated style.
I would
think
also
we've
say
downgraded?
personal choice. I think I know a lot of people who wear rounded sunglasses that just...
Oh, okay, fair.
I think
lot of females,
when I see
too.
those, I think like female Gen Z wears those a lot, and while wearing those like hippie pants, you know what I'm talking about? They're like
do wear
they
both
kind of
of those
hug
a
up
lot.
top and they get really flowy bell bottomy at the bottom, and they're also typically wearing like a knit like tank top type deal,
Crochet.
and they have the Miley Cyrus giraffe pigtails.
Wow, that's a very specific type of girl that wears rounded sunglasses.
I'm a big Miley Cyrus guy. I just want to throw that out there since we're here.
She
She has
crushes
great
it.
tattoos.
I just am like talent-wise, I think she's one of the goats. and she's a crazy person, which I also really dig as a crazy person.
Well, dude, I was in love with her as Hannah Montana because that was like the show of my childhood.
See, I never watched Hannah Montana, not a single fucking time.
Obsessed with Hannah Montana.
I knew she was Hannah Montana, obviously, and that was one of the crazy things and appeals about when
Climb
she
is a
broke
great
out
song.
and became like this dirty, sexual pop star, because we were like, hey, wasn't that the little girl from that show that all the childrens were watching? And it turns out it was.
Yeah, I think she
Also, her dad is the
Achy breaky heart.
achy breaky heart guy.
And the Lil Nas X guy.
I don't really know how to describe that. Yeah. I don't really know how to describe this, but somehow Disney created, Disney stars of the mid 2000s created the need for a show like Euphoria. I'm just going to leave that take as is, draw the connections as you'd like, but it created the market for it.
I can understand that.
Okay, fair enough. Jared, on a similar note, you've quarantined more than any living human.
Yeah.
You just finished your 14th quarantine in as many months, if my math is right. Do you have any quarantine pro tips to share with the listeners, like quarantine life hacks, Jared? We need them.
Yeah. It's only been twice, I believe now.
14.
But
14.
if you round up on a 1 to 14 logarithmic scale, it would be 14.
Well,
of course.
technically, that'd be 1 to 7.
Carry the 1. Logarithmic, dude.
Corneal action.
Do you use a catheter?
I don't use a catheter. I have a bathroom in my apartment.
Well, I just figured if you were going to quarantine, you might want to just chill.
How the fuck are those two things related?
I mean,
You having a bathroom in your
Yeah.
apartment, whether or not you use a catheter, don't seem to be like.
I thought
direct
he was saying
connections.
you can't even leave your apartment to go to the bathroom, So
Oh, no, I knew you could do that. I just figured, if you're going to quarantine, why even leave the bed? Just
Oh.
go ahead and throw one in and just chill.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd probably go bedpan so I could catch.
I'll tell you why, Chris, because you have to stick a catheter up your penis hole. Have you ever had a catheter in?
Obviously not.
You're not qualified to talk on
Yeah.
this subject, sir.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, but I've watched one removed.
Okay.
Don't ask questions about that story.
So,
anyone.
quarantine pro tips. Here's what I got for you.
I was in a hospital. I snuck into a room, and you know how it is. You accidentally walk into the wrong room, Jared. Sorry. And I was in there, and I said, "Hey, fuck it, I might as well stay." And I watched them remove this old man's catheter from his penis, and it's straight up. They just pull the tube out of your dinghy, and it's quite painful. It looks like. Anyway, Jared, continue.
So quarantine pro tips.
I mean, I figured it was
Tip
for,
one was get a catheter.
figured it was for sexual
okay, number one.
purposes,
Find a quarantine-friendly passion that you can sink money into for the sole purpose of making you feel like you're being productive when in reality you're just losing money and you're never going to do anything with it, but you are convincing yourself that you're going to do something with it.
Can I
You talking about
guess?
stonks?
No, he's talking
No.
about streaming. right?
Streaming, yes.
Yep.
I've invested money in a number of things like a green screen, like
Okay,
2
so let me-
studio lights.
Let me define something here for you folks at home. A quarantine-friendly hobby would be one that doesn't involve the other human beings, because you see, the presence of the other human beings physically, because they're dangerous. They're dangerous. They're carrying
Or you're dangerous.
the virus, and you need something that can put space between you and the other humans, but remain productive. In the case of Jared, you're a little late. I sunk my ship into this the second the ex-wife left.
Yeah.
I
Day
was
one.
like, I gotta have something to do.
In all honesty, you probably saw the pandemic coming. You predicted it, basically. You were ready to go as soon as it hit.
Many
You're
have
like,
argued I triggered it entirely.
Yeah.
fair.
A lot of people said China, and everybody else was like Rossa.
Chungus.
And the riding crop. Everybody
riding
knows
crop.
the riding crop wasn't patient zero, it caused patient zero.
Yeah,
It's true.
Okay.
it was the butterfly effect that sprung that into
For
existence.
people wondering, I did not have the virus again, but I was exposed closely, so I was like, okay, I want to play it safe,
But
so
you
yeah,
are a COVID survivor.
yeah. I mean, untested because back then they weren't testing people because there weren't enough tests. But I am known to be probably a COVID survivor. But again, I probably lost the antibodies at this point, so I'm.
You
probably able
lose
to
the
get it again.
antibodies? They don't just hang out forever?
I'm not confident that I understand how any of this works after this conversation.
I mean, does anybody know how it works?
No.
I think that's part of the reason why every single state has different systems and every single person has different beliefs and comfort levels.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever looked at the United States of America and been like, maybe giving all 50 states independent rights and laws wasn't the actual move, because it's so different from state to state. Like,
Yeah.
states bordering each other will have completely different policies over like which drugs you're allowed to take.
If you
in.
live in northwestern Indiana, which is essentially a suburb of Chicago, you can literally go across the street to Illinois and buy weed and then just walk back across into Indiana. But the issue there is that it's illegal when you bring it back, and transporting across straight lines is a federal offense. So
I wish there needs to be a website that updates us on
Good
every
God.
pot arrest in the nation.
Yeah.
I want to see how many times a day somebody's arrested for pot. I bet it's not that many anymore.
No, I bet it's a shitload.
You think it's a shit
I
ton of people
guarantee you
still?
it's still a shitload. Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Absolutely.
that would be really
Because over policing in a lot of communities, they just use that as an excuse to lock people up.
But it's decriminalized in so many major cities now that it's. I guess it would depend on where it's still criminalized,
Yeah.
where it's still an arrestable offense.
What
to
happens
carry
if you get caught with an eighth of weed in Austin, Texas?
nothing.
At all?
Literally.
Do they confiscate it? Do you get a
No,
ticket?
you could get a $50 fine.
I'm pretty sure they take it from you, but it's a small ticket. You're
Yeah.
not arrested. You get to go about your day. Your freedom is maintained. If you get caught with over 2 ounces, there's some kind of larger penalty.
But
But marijuana as a substance has been decriminalized in Austin and in Houston. I don't know about Dallas. Probably not.
So if I left city limits though, and I'm like driving out to the ranch in LaGrange or some shit like that, and I have an eighth on me there though, can I still?
Yeah,
go
they'll
to
fuck
jail?
you up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pretty
so
much
that's
the
crazy.
general rule of thumb is like,
Don't leave the city.
don't go to
No.
the country.
Ross also knows this. The general rule of thumb when you're in Austin, Texas, is don't go to Williamson County and commit a crime.
Definitely don't go to LaGrange.
Williamson County
Williamson
is the
County?
one right above Austin. It's where Round Rock and
Okay.
Georgetown are.
Wait, why?
Don't speed in
Because
LaGrange either.
Georgetown, those places, they just had like their sheriff get arrested for like corruption. Like it's literally like they will try to prosecute you for any conservative loving crime like possession of drugs,
Dude,
or anything.
Georgetown
similar.
is also like a notorious meth town.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Georgetown's the town square there is beautiful. I love
one of my
Texas?
pledge brothers in college. Yeah, it's a small town somewhere. I don't know
it.
directions.
It's literally north of Austin,
I don't know,
northeast of Austin, about 30 minutes.
Okay, so this dude, I'm not gonna say his name, obviously, but he was the first person I ever did meth with, because I knew that he was from a meth town, so like when he suggested it, I was like, this guy knows his meth. I knew he'd know where the good shit was. Like he'd know this meth, this glass here was better than this ice
He was
over
from
here.
Georgetown, Texas.
Again, one of the worst experiences of my life. Do not recommend at all. You want to know how I got through my 2 quarantines, Chris?
Meth?
Athletic Greens.
Oh.
RBP 371 is brought to you by Athletic Greens, the most comprehensive daily nutritional beverage I've ever tried. It's delicious. It's the good stuff. It will get you the nutrients your body needs to operate at its best. And with so many stressors in life, it's difficult to maintain effective nutritional habits and give our bodies the nutrients they need to thrive, especially now with the situation with all the different restaurants and grocery stores, and we have busy schedules and like poor sleep. We got to exercise. There's so much stress. Or for some of us, it's just simply that we've never really eaten enough of the right foods. And that's where Athletic Greens helps us out. Their daily all-in-one superfood powder is your nutritional essential. It's by far the easiest, most delicious nutritional habit that I have ever found to add to my health routine. You can do the same and empower yourself to take ownership of your health. One tasty scoop of Athletic Greens contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotic, green superfood, and more that all work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet, increase energy and focus, aid with digestion, and support a healthy immune system, all without the need to take multiple products, which is huge, which is key. Chris, have you enjoyed your Athletic Greens?
Absolutely loved them. Every month.
The good stuff. Get your day started on the right foot. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/Ross today and join health experts, athletes, health-conscious go-getters, and podcasters around the world who make a daily commitment to their health every single day. Get a free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs when you go today. Again, you simply visit athleticgreens.com/Ross. You get a free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs today. Now it's time for some announcements and shouts. Happy 24th birthday to Will from Belleville, coming up Saturday. Enjoy it. If you want to watch episodes of our show, you can do so on youtube.com/Bolen Media. Look, it's me, and there's Chris and Jared on, it's not Bolen Media anymore, YouTube. Just search the Ross Bolen podcast on YouTube. You're a smart lad. You'll figure it out.
We should figure this out.
I kind of look like a babushka.
We just changed this last week. I'll figure it out, folks. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast if you want to support the podcast and get an ad-free episode every Friday. Of course, you get your Monday and Wednesday episodes, normal weeks anyway. This week we did Tuesday, Thursday. But Monday, Wednesday normally, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go listen to the show, watch on YouTube. And then on Fridays, you get an ad-free edition of RBP exclusively on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast for those who want to support the show in exchange for an additional exclusive premium ad-free pod. Now it's time for our first segment of today's show. Chris finally watched Blow.
I did.
So, Coles, you finally watched the 2001 Johnny Depp film Blow for the first time.
I did.
Starring Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz. What's the dude's name who plays his psychotic friend? Who knows? Don't know.
Which one? He has like a bunch of psychotic friends in that one, I'm not going to lie.
I guess the one that gets becomes his coke dealing partner and then betrays him and shit. That dude's my fave. He's got crazy cocaine eyes.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Don't
Crazy
remember his
cocaine
name.
eyes. So the thing that was shocking about this, Jared, you've seen the movie Blow, correct?
So I've not seen the movie Blow.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
You're dead serious?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing that was shocking about this is Blow is obviously one of the classic like Pantheon drug movies up there with the likes of Scarface, right? So I got on Twitter after Coles told me, like, I've never seen Blow. Not only had he not seen it, he hadn't really heard of it. And there was a pretty distinct split of people from his generation who were like, either like, nah, I haven't seen it, or like, yes, oh my God, I've seen it. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like, almost every person who had seen it was like, I don't know how you could have missed this movie, and then yet there were people who had missed it. Jared, I don't know what your deal is.
Okay, so I am very familiar with the movie. I know of its existence. My best friend in college had a Blow poster in his apartment that I
Very
always
basic.
hung out in.
Very basic.
Seems like it definitely seems like a movie poster that would belong in like a dorm room
Yeah,
or
yep.
like
Okay.
a frat house.
So you have-
I need to stop you. I had the poster.
yeah.
I had the poster.
Did
I
you-
had the
it's like
Johnny
Johnny
Depp
Depp's
laying
head-
in her lap with the money. Was that it?
No, it was him like looking at a table of Blow.
Oh, so I had the one. I think you might be mixing up posters, or you're thinking of a different poster.
No.
I had the Scarface Tony Montana poster of him sitting at the desk looking at the pile of Blow, and I also had the Blow poster of Johnny Depp laying in Penelope Cruz's lap with a shit ton of money all over.
I know what frame you're talking
Yeah,
about. It's at the end of the movie. It's where he's wearing the Hawaiian t-shirt. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, kind of.
You know, it's a poster
Probably.
that I didn't
Forgot.
pay much attention to. Now, I agree. And when we're talking about the pantheon of drug movies, the pantheon of college posters, you got to have the red Solo Cup poster, but it's the Andy Warhol designed
Didn't know
red Solo Cup.
Anybody with that
where
is
it's-
No, I
so
could-
fucking lame.
Yes,
it
you
makes me
do.
want to die.
Yeah, no
It's
clue
Andy
what you're
Warhol
talking-
style.
Jared, that was
There's
your
four-
group of- your
there's
age group,
four
not mine.
red Solo Cups, all with the Andy Warhol Campbell soup can design, where it's different color schemes on each one.
Shout out Toby Keith.
There's the John Belushi college sweatshirt one.
Terrible.
That is an absolute
Classic
staple.
though. Classic staple.
There's the poster you get when you pick up your season football tickets. That's got the schedule and the team all standing there like
Only know this one if you went to a good football school. Not a thing I've ever heard of.
That's
it's
true.
accurate.
We had one for USC. Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit about our football schedule at Texas State.
We actually had a women's volleyball one too, but that was just because we went to a women's volleyball match one time.
I think the news just broke that Texas State, as a university, failed to sign a single
Recruit.
recruit on National Signing Day to their football team. A single one. In
yeah.
fact, they failed to acknowledge that National Signing Day even occurred on their website.
Yeah, that was a hilarious article.
Pretty awesome. Continue, Jared.
Okay, can anybody think of another? I know
I
there's
also
one
had
more.
the Sopranos season 6 poster on my wall. I basically wanted people to walk
Oh,
in
The
my dorm and
Godfather.
know this guy gets fucked up, and not just on alcohols. The Godfather. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And a Red Hot Chili Peppers.
So are you just not in? Whatever, Jared. You not watching Blow really fucks up my whole
I
my
get that.
whole outlook on Blow, and I'm not understanding how this one slipped under the radar for so many people. But Chris, you watched it. What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. As stated, I watched it at like, obviously trying to be COVID safe as we come into the studio all the time during the weekends, stuff like that. I haven't been going out or doing anything crazy, so I spent my Saturday
Your
afternoon.
Instagram stories would argue differently, but okay.
I mean, I'm not going like out. I've been hanging
I think
out
I saw you
with
pissing next to a coffin last weekend.
Okay, yes, but that was not I wasn't not out, just going,
I think a lot of people would consider
house.
pissing next to a coffin crazy out behavior.
Yeah, I'm just saying. A lot of people just heard you say that, and they're like, "I follow you on Instagram."
Okay, fair
this
enough.
Man,
I
this
mean-
man desecrated a corpse. I'm pretty sure he's going out.
There
Yeah,
was no
Chris-
corpse in
Chris
the
and his
coffin.
boys dug up a body last week
Did
and
you,
peed
can you
in it.
prove to me right now
Yes.
that there is no corpse in the coffin?
No.
There we go. Chris desecrated a corpse.
Anyway,
Potentially.
back to your point.
Back to my point.
Corpse.
So anyway, I was watching a movie at like
RPSE.
I was watching a movie at like 3:00 on a Saturday, and it was Blow, and it fucked me up, man. I mean, like it. By the end of the movie, you just want Johnny Depp's character to get a win, like in any capacity. And then there's two moments at the end, both having to do with his daughter, both of which I expected it. Like in the back of my mind, I knew that he was gonna fail again and again, and part of me at the same time thought that maybe the movie would end off on some sort of happy note. No, didn't. Crushed me.
Yeah,
Destroyed my soul.
they hit
like
you with,
4
like,
times.
2 hours of straight what is it called? Idolization. Like what is it called? They glorified the drug game.
Yeah.
For 2 straight hours, you're just like, whoa, Black Betty, bam, a lamb.
Yep.
Like, you couldn't be more stoked for Johnny Depp and everybody involved in this operation.
And you think he's finally kind of getting out of it at the end, and things are like actually looking up, and then fucking the bottom falls out, and then he climbs his way back up slowly.
Are you
but
ruining the
surely,
movie for
plays
me?
it safe, does
Are
it
you
again.
Spoiler Nation?
You don't get to claim spoilers on a
2001 movie. It's been out for
20-year-old
literally
film.
20 years.
A 20-year-old film cannot be claimed as a spoiler.
Spoiler Nation. Population Chris.
Gosh.
But yeah, you root for this dude. So it's like that's the thing about these drug movies, right? Really organized crime movies in general. If you end up falling for the characters and like really liking the characters, what you're rooting for is for them to get out.
Yeah.
Because you know how the drug game ends. You're either dead or in jail.
Yep.
That's how it ends. And everybody knows it's very difficult to get out. It's always extremely complicated. It's much harder than you would think it would be to just get out, walk away. There are people who don't let you. There's all kind of storylines that come into these different movies. But like in the case of this one and Johnny Depp, yeah, man, by the end of it, you're like, oh my God, just please escape and have some money and get a relationship going with your daughter. And of course, they rip the rug out from under you when she disappears, walking him with him in the prison yard. Spoiler alert, Jared.
That part, and
It's heartbreaking.
That's the thing. Probably 10 minutes before that scene, there's a part where him and his daughter are about to be together again, and he's going to take her out to California, and it's all going to be happy and good, and we're going to be fine. And then that fucking falls apart again. And then 10 minutes later, you finally get this like bit of closure, maybe, where it's like his daughter's at the prison. He gets to see her one last time. He gets to tell her that he loves her. Yeah, she still loves him. She forgives him. And then it's a fucking hallucination.
I will say this.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Pretty crushing.
But it was fantastic. It was fantastic. And I was surprised that it's not in the drug pantheon of movies.
It is.
Because Escobar is in it. And Escobar, usually anytime he's in a very good film or TV show, it immediately like cements itself as an all-timer. And I was just shocked that I hadn't heard about this one, or none of my buddies had talked about this one. Because like you said, Ross, this one was right up my alley. I absolutely loved it.
Well, I mean, it was one of the biggest movies of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is it's not like this was like something that slid under the radar.
Sure,
Johnny
sure.
Depp was at the top of his game as the most famous actor in the world.
Also,
at this point.
Depp dominated the role. Dominated.
Yeah, this was his like it was Johnny Depp at his best.
Yeah.
It was before
I don't know.
things
I've seen
started to fall apart for him.
I've seen Rango
What about Chocolat?
He does dominate in Rango too.
Chocolat?
and Pirates of the Caribbean. The first one is probably Johnny Depp's best film, if we're being honest.
No.
I mean,
Jared, no, it's not.
character-wise,
Curse the
no,
Black
I think
Pearl.
it could definitely
It's
be
his most mainstream hit.
but character-wise, Jack Sparrow,
Jack
like,
Sparrow's
the way
most
that
iconic.
he's not Johnny
is.
Depp in Jack Sparrow.
It's
He
his
is
most
Jack
iconic
Sparrow.
role. Pirates of the Caribbean is not Johnny Depp's best movie.
No, it is. I'll stand by that.
okay.
I also want to
He
disagree.
has many good films. I'd just like to throw that out. He had a very long and storied career before Pirates of the Caribbean and before Blow, and he's in a bunch of shit. Edward Scissorhands, a lot of people would probably argue, is his best
I mean,
role.
Fear and Loathing, people would probably say
Fear and Loathing,
But-
phenomenal movie.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's backcountry.
Have you seen
Oh.
Fear and Loathing?
I've not.
What? Okay, that is.
See?
This is where the generation gap comes in. That is, you of all people, I would expect you to have a Fear and Loathing poster, which would be in the pantheon of lame ass posters.
Is it Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh my God.
Is that
Oh
what
my
it
God.
is?
Wait,
Oh my God.
Oh,
he's wearing the shirt.
I'm wearing the T-shirt. I'm wearing the Fear and Loathing T-shirt.
He's literally wearing a Fear and Loathing T-shirt right now.
What are the fucking odds? Look at
Oh
us.
my- holy shit!
Look at us. Can
If
you
you're on
believe it?
YouTube right now, youtube.com/?, then you can see.
I'm
He's
sure there are
currently-
some people watching on YouTube who have been yelling for several seconds, like, the shirt! You're wearing
Okay,
the shirt!
That is a great movie. That is a movie, Chris, that is literally
I've
the.
seen-
I would argue the number one of all time. The king, the Zeus, the king of the pantheon of drug movies.
If you watch that movie, it makes every other drug movie look like a children's bedtime story.
yeah.
Fear and I've definitely seen like screenshots and posters from it before.
Yeah,
Him
you've
with
seen
the
the-
cigarette and the
Yeah,
sunglasses
in
and
the
the
bucket hat,
Yeah,
and
bro.
running in the car, in the
But
back.
just Fear and Loathing in
convertible.
general, that's like one of the most famous pieces of
Yeah.
Americana
Yes.
culture, period, at this point. Which brings me to something that I wanted to share. On Oysters, Clams, and Cockles this week, our television and film podcast at Bolen Media, Barrett Dudley, my co-host and I, discussed massive movies we somehow missed. Barrett Dudley's been one of my best friends for like 17 years, and he's a dude that has, over the course of our friendship, revealed several times movies that he missed that I was utterly shocked by. Like, at one point he was like, yeah, I haven't seen The Godfather or Saving Private Ryan or The Lord of the Rings. And we were like, get out, Jared. Get out. I mean, get out, Barrett. Like, you
Honestly, you'd say that to me too, because I haven't seen. I'm the number one
Saving
guy.
Private Ryan?
Yeah, I've seen Saving Private Ryan. I've not seen any Lord of the Rings besides the first one. I've not seen any of the Godfathers. I've not.
Hey, I've only seen the first one, too.
Titanic.
So I've seen most of the best movies ever made
Yeah.
because I'm psychotic about movies. I love movies and TV shows very, very much. But there are very few that I have missed, and I'll give you one of mine from OCC that we discussed. It was Donnie Brasco. Have you seen Donnie Brasco? No. It's another Johnny Depp film. Wow, this is all really tying together well. I'm a professional. Donnie Brasco is a mafia movie, which puts it in, again, an area that I'm obsessed with, organized crime films. So to not have seen it is very random and weird, and it's a massive movie that most people who are familiar with crime movies and mafia movies love and have seen. It fits, it's like, it's not one of the top dogs. It's not in the top 5 or nothing. It's not Goodfellas or Casino or Godfather 1 or 2 or any of that. But it's somewhere down there.
It's got Pacino in it.
Like 13 or 15 or some shit. Yeah, it's a very, very famous movie, and it's one that I somehow missed. So if you're interested in television and film, subscribe to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. Wherever you listen to RBP, you can find OCC, as it is known, and listen to our most recent episode where we discuss massive movies we somehow missed, as well as other things. But Chris, I'm glad you finally got to catch Blow.
I am too.
I love that movie. It's been too long since I watched it. It's a very long one that does kind of beat your ass by the end.
It does beat your ass.
So it's not really that appealing at the moment, but one day soon I will get back to Blow, as I did have it on my college dorm room wall. And really, in hindsight, my whole college dorm room experience, I had no interest in differentiating myself, apparently. Like, just the most basic possible posters.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really a poster guy.
Don't know
sadly.
what women were. This is multiple levels of admission here. It is not only pathetically basic, it is cultural appropriation. I had a Jamaican flag on my wall
Oh my god.
with Bob Marley's giant head in the middle of it. Why?
Yeah, that would be up there with
Like,
bad
why?
posters. Yeah.
I was even worse though. In all honesty, I was the guy that had the "Don't Tread on Me" flag and the North Carolina State
Did you have
flag.
a Che Guevara
no.
picture?
Dude, no, this was pre-Che Guevara. This was like I would have had like a Reagan '84 poster on the
You
wall.
were just
like
buying rowdy gentleman flags.
that's
sticking them on the
literally
wall.
exactly what I was doing.
I wanna
They
hop in.
probably were rowdy gentleman flags.
I just elbowed a light with my elbow. Oops. So you said earlier that all drug stories either end in death or they end in
All drug dealers.
getting arrested. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a major drug dealer, you end up dead or in jail.
See, I disagree because I used to sell boner pills in the bathroom of one of the bars in Madison, and I used to claim it was Mucinex DM, and that's why people were buying it because they were really congested. And I'm fine. I'm hearing this podcast right now.
That's a weird move
What the
by
hell
you,
are
though.
you talking about?
It's a weird move.
I'm just saying, dude. You
Wait,
can be
so
a
you
hustler.
sold
You can be a
boner pills?
hustler. Yeah.
As Mucinex DM.
Yeah, they were cheaper.
So you just wanted
There's
people to
no
be
way.
erect all the time without having known why.
Well, then I could see who my
But also
clients were.
suffered
I could
from
keep track of my
allergies.
clients because I could, they got boners.
True
the
enough.
bar.
And then they got addicted to that life,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
lifestyle of
Yeah,
being
yeah.
hard all the time.
Mhm.
I understand. That's
But
why
then
we
they
got the BlueChew.com sponsor, code RBP.
So they're just, I'm looking for the dudes who are really snotty and have boners. And I'm like, dude, that's my guy.
God, what a weird.
Make
way
sure
to
I
end
can
this
hunt that guy down
segment
and
that was
and
supposed to
upsell
be
him.
about the movie.
Okay, but
Blow. No. Please don't.
No, Chris, what?
how
Next
did you
segment?
have any repeat customers? If you did your job as a drug dealer horribly, they were stuffy the entire night and then just had a random boner.
And next segment. Insane headlines of the day. All right, here's your first insane headline. Local podcaster arrested for formerly selling counterfeit erection pills in high school bathroom. No, the only insane headline we have to discuss today is Jeff Bezos steps down as Amazon CEO.
Follow up to take position as leader of New World Order. Probably.
Like with the group?
Not actually.
Bezos said Tuesday he will step down as CEO of Amazon, leaving the helm of the company he founded 27 years ago, according to NBC News and everywhere else reporting it at this point. He's going to transition to the role of executive chair in the third quarter of this year, which starts July 1st. For those of you who want to start learning business quarters, I still don't know them. July 1st, apparently when the third quarter starts. I should know this as a business owner.
I mean, I'll help you right now. January, February, March, Q1. April, May, June, Q2, July, August, September, Q3, October, November, December, Q4. It's
So that's it.
literally-
They're just divided into threes.
Yes, so you divide the or the calendar year
Into four.
That's why they're called quarters.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not the fiscal year, just calendar year.
Wow.
Yep. Consultant.
Yeah. A guy named Andy Jassy is going to be the new CEO.
Yeah, Jazzy Andy.
Coles, if you don't stop what you're doing with your leg, I'm
I
going to tear it
can't.
off and throw it out of the
I'm
studio.
sorry.
Restless leg syndrome.
I do. My
Andy
leg this morning
Jassy.
is so
How come every time we get a new CEO to replace one of the epic, like, American fucking icons of CEOing that we've had, like, you know, what was that dude's name who ran Apple?
Oh, Tim Apple?
Steve Jobs. And what's the new guy's name?
Tim Apple.
Tim Cook. It's always just a super lame name.
Do you remember when Trump called him Tim Apple?
Yes. Who the fuck is Andy Jassy?
I mean, it's Jeff Bezos, an inherently exciting name.
I think it is.
I don't know. It doesn't matter what your name is when you're the guy, though, because it makes your name like this fucking thing.
True.
When you're Andy Jassy and you just step up and you're like, "Hi, I'm Andy Jassy," or "I'm Tim Cook," it's just like,
I don't know how I feel about a CEO being named Andy, right? Like a nickname.
Andy.
It kind of humanizes him too much, right?
Andy's the name of the kid in Toy Story.
What if we called him Jeffy Bezos? Like, it just sounds weird. It doesn't sound like a CEO.
Yeah, be Andrew, dude. What are you doing? You're a
Yeah.
fucking grown man.
Andrew Jassy actually sounds like a CEO name.
That sounds sort of tight. Yeah.
Andy Jassy.
Hell, yeah, even that's lame.
Drew
Jassy.
Jassy? No, I don't like
Couldn't
that.
do that. Absolutely not.
His face is very round.
Yeah, he was
Very
the chief
circular.
executive of Amazon Web Services who's going to take over as CEO. So Bezos sent an memo to his employees that said the transition will give him the time and energy he needs to focus on the Day One Fund, the Bezos Earth Fund, Blue Origin, the Washington Post, and my other passions.
Blue Origin is his SpaceX, right?
It is, yeah. That he's putting, like, I think it's like $1 billion a year towards or something like that. Something incredible.
I love throwing the Washington Post in there. Was that just to remind us that he owns the Washington
Yes.
Post?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
He was like, here are the 3 major charitable and like world-changing organizations that I'm going to be focused on, and also WAPO. Which is like, I just feel like he could have left that one out. No one's high on the news media at the
Dude,
moment.
democracy dies in darkness.
I know
Get
it does, Jared, but like, these guys have been part of the problem there, not the solution. Anyway, I just would have left that one off the list if I was him. So he's stepping away from Amazon at the time. The value of the company in the market hovers around $1.7 trillion, obviously making it one of the most valuable in the world. Nobody knows exactly how active Bezos will remain within Amazon, but the consensus seems to be he'll still be heavily, heavily involved. And
feel
they
like-
really are trying to reiterate that to investors.
Yeah, I feel like if you're sitting in a chair called the executive chair, you're still going to be pretty heavily
Isn't that called a
involved.
throne?
Here's the quote
Yeah.
from Brian Olsavsky, the chief financial officer of Amazon. He said, he's going to be executive chairman. Super important role. Super active in the Amazon success story.
Well, then who's been the executive chairman now?
I don't feel like they did a very good job of like
No,
really.
super, dude. It's super good,
guys,
man.
trust us. It's super important. He's going to be super, super active. It's going to be.
That's what you tell a new entry level employee, dude. Your job is super important, man. Like you're doing some super work
That's
down
what
there.
you tell an unpaid intern.
Did you know that Tesla? Speaking of rich billionaires, did you know that they're not doing like media? That they don't like do interviews and shit.
What do you mean?
Because you're trying to get them on.
No, that's not how I found out, actually, coincidentally. But yes, I am trying to get one of them on, someone from there on. But they don't do media like that. Like when Elon steps out to do something like Rogan or like that weird new app where people chat, Clubhouse that he did last week, that's why it's such a big deal, because he doesn't do traditional media. So you won't see him on CNN or Fox. They don't return questions from news outlets when they're asking to report on a story. Like they just were basically like, it got to a place where Elon and Tesla and their executive board were so frustrated with like the media and the short sellers, and they were just like, fuck it, we're out. They Kyrie Irving'd basically. They were like, no more questions. I had no idea. I didn't know that until like yesterday, so interesting to me. Anyway, Andy Jassy is the new guy we can keep an eye on.
I'm gonna miss the name Jeff Bezos, right?
I don't think we will.
I just think the name is funny, right? Because when I think of Bezos, my brain goes, okay, Bezos, Beeson, which is sticking Burt's Bees around your eyes to get high.
Do you think that having $1 billion inherently makes your body start to transform to where you start to look like an evil villain character? Or
Yes.
do you have to like already have that look to even have the chance to make $1 billion? Because all these dudes have the same.
Yeah.
Chicken or the egg argument.
Like, you could pull Bezos from a Bond movie. You could pull Elon Musk from a Bond movie.
Yep.
Bill Gates is really the only one who looks like your fucking neighbor living next door.
Yeah. And he's the one who
Mr. Rogers and shit.
people think is the most of an actual supervillain. A lot of people do because
Putting the microchips
they think
in
he's
our
putting
arms.
microchips in vaccines.
Yeah.
So
Created
Chip me
COVID.
up, Daddy Gates.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
make me into a freaking cyborg, dude.
No, I'm seriously in for that.
Give me Windows
71
XP.
is also brought to you by Flora CBD. Flora believes in making the natural benefits of CBD more available to the public. This is a new sponsor. Pay attention. They offer a wide range of CBD products in different forms, strengths, and flavors. Whether you're new to CBD or an experienced user, there's a Flora CBD product for you. Everybody knows I quit tobacco products finally after 16 years in 2020. I've talked about it again and again and again. Well, Flora CBD has CB dip. It's dip, CBD dip, made with non-GMO full-spectrum hemp flower for a healthier tobacco-free dip alternative. It's yet another phenomenal
CB dip
alternative without tobacco that's got CBD, each can of which contains long-cut CBD-rich flowers, providing users with a convenient and fast-acting consumption method. It's available in a variety of naturally derived flavors, including Southern Peach and Bourbon. Their non-tobacco dip delivers all the natural benefits of CBD while stimulating all your senses. If you're somebody like me who had struggled with tobacco and specifically dip for many, 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 many years, this is a phenomenal product. I love it. It's delicious. Dippers, it will almost certainly be your new favorite CBD consumption method. You've got to try it. Just go to gotflora.com and use the code RBP when you check out for 20% off site-wide. That's GOTFLORA.com. Use the code RBP for 20% off site-wide. Next segment.
CB dip sounds tight.
It is
sounds
tight.
very tight.
It is tight. I didn't know it existed. We got hit by them to be a sponsor, and I was so stoked and got some of their product. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Also, bourbon and what was the other? Peach Sunset or something like that?
Southern Peach.
Southern Peach sounds delicious and extremely refreshing. Reminds me of Charleston. Don't know why. Can't explain it. Once weed's federally legalized, I think some THC dip would be incredible. Throw that in. Hour later, you're high as a kite.
I'm
Sounds
sure
great.
they're working on that.
Can't
Quite
wait for
sure.
it.
That wouldn't be an
Can't
hour.
wait
That's like
for it.
supposed to be fast acting. Gets right into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, good point, actually.
Immediate hit.
Immediate.
Final segment. Year of the Volunteer.
Wow.
Everybody,
We're doing it.
it's over. It's done. We've decided.
It's not Year of the Boot.
It's February 4th, 2021. We're not going to wait till March or April or whenever we did last year to get into the year of the comeback. It was necessary.
Yeah, we're only
last
waiting
year.
1 month.
This year we wait 1 month. 1 month of decision, and now the deciding has been done by the decider. It is the Year of the Volunteer, which is pretty straightforward, right? The Year of the Volunteer is about helping our fellow man. Whether it's volunteering at a food bank or a blood drive or a homeless shelter, or maybe COVID in your area makes all those things impossible, so you volunteer to help a friend with something. Whether it's moving or, putting together a fucking IKEA dresser for their kid, I don't know. You volunteer to help. It could be just within your family. It doesn't even have to be with friends or strangers. Just the point is taking the time this year to make sure that we are there for those around us by volunteering, by doing something that's not about getting something in return. That's the point.
Giving back.
And
Pay-
really
pay
just
it
like
forward.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be paid forward, dude. What if your situation is shitty? It still doesn't mean you shouldn't volunteer because you could help make somebody else's situation better. And the thing that everybody knows about volunteering your time, your service, your energy, your effort is that, yes, you are not paid. That is the whole point, that it is without compensation. The feeling you get back from it almost becomes a selfish act because, yes, you're helping somebody else or a group or whatever you're doing, circumstantial, but you get the feeling of accomplishment and of having done something good to help, and it makes you feel fulfilled. It's one of the undeniably more fulfilling activities that a human being can take part in is helping another human being. It's not something we do intentionally that often. So I felt like there's never been a better time for us to make sure, obviously we saw how 2020 ravaged our society. We saw what it did to mental health across the country and world. We're only now seeing some of the statistics come out, and it's horrifying. People have lost their jobs. They've been run through the shit, man. This has been a gauntlet of thing after thing after thing after thing. Unemployment is crazy. The world is on fire, and people need help. All of us within this community, for one reason or another, could use a little influx of help as well. We can help ourselves by giving ourselves purpose here, by volunteering and finding productive and positive things to do with our time, so that it's not just about distracting ourselves with another activity that'll keep our minds off whatever for the sake of our own sanity. It's about actually putting something into the universe that's positive and building towards a better tomorrow together. So the Year of the Volunteer is what we are doing in 2021 as part of our, our initiative on the Ross Bolen podcast. What we want y'all to do is start to take part in some volunteer activities. Like I said, it could be as simple as helping a friend, and it could be as complicated as starting a homeless shelter if you want to. I don't know. But we want you to tell us or show us what you're doing by sending us photos, videos over the course of the whole year, whether it's to our Snapchat or our Instagram or preferably, one of the major social media outlets we check every day.
The
Could
best
be Twitter.
would be to post it to your own story
And tag
us. And then we can just add it, share it to our
Yes.
RBP story. And then, you're showing up on the RBP story. We're spreading out the good word about the Year of the Volunteer, and everybody's happy.
Spreading the good word, baby.
Spreads a good word. So yeah, if you get into some volunteering this year, which you should, as it's now one of your legal obligations, obviously, as if part of the RBP gang, make sure you document a little bit. Send us a snap, a photo. Put something. Everybody's got Instagram. Put it up on Instagram. Tag at the Ross Bolen podcast. We'll share what you're doing on our story, and we can all keep tabs on what we're all doing to fulfill our commitment to the Year of the Volunteer in 2021. I'm excited, Jared. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the different types of volunteering. Some fun volunteering things I've done in the past. Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, watch out, everybody. Big volunteer veteran Jared over here just stunting on all of us. Hey, guys, I've been volunteering this whole time. You're late to the party. Tell us.
So nobody's ever made a Year of the Volunteer campaign and then immediately volunteer shame somebody for volunteering.
I think lots
They
of
have
people
now, Jared.
Yeah.
They fucking have
So,
now.
Habitat for Humanity. You'll be shocked at the level of
I've done some Habitat for Humanity. It's dope.
at the level of access they give you to building a home. If you've ever been like,
Oh, Jared.
I wonder what
I
it's
was
like to build a
shocked.
home, and then they're like, hey, here's a nail gun, here's some insulation. I'm like,
Okay, so yeah, for like Jared, you and I are in similar ballparks when it comes to mechanical, manly building things.
Yeah.
Deficiencies.
well, I built a computer and you haven't, so I guess I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, but that was more of a personal choice based on time management. I'll just say it was a time management decision. I showed up to a Habitat for Humanity thing in high school at some point. It may have been a community service court-ordered thing. I'm not really remembering. But that is basically what happened. They were like, here is a hammer. There is the house that we are building.
Here's wood.
You build now. And I was like, ha ha ha.
I was shocked.
You what?
I was like applying like insulation in the corner of like the attic, and I was like, what am I doing?
Dude, when we used to, our house in college, our fraternity house was so shitty that during Hell Week they would have us reinforce the house.
Nice.
By going around and making construction. We had a bunch of manly ass dudes from like fucking East Texas and shit in our fraternity, and these dudes know how to build stuff. That's how their crazy ass families raise them. I was taught to like make funny jokes. That was basically it. Nobody taught me how to make food or build a house or anything like that. So during Hell Week, these dudes would go around and they'd be legitimately like replacing pieces of the fucking front porch, like redoing the siding on something. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, what is the siding? What?
Jared, I literally went around the house with a box of nails and just hit them into random spots on the wall because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm too tired to think. None of these skill sets apply to anything I'm even remotely interested in. I'm the most. So just to be upfront here, Habitat for Humanity. If you were looking forward to me showing up, I'm not. I'll throw y'all some cash, but like, my hands aren't gonna help y'all.
But if you ever had any interest in it, it's very fun. You'll be surprised. If you ever want to use a nail gun in an actual capacity of building a house, there you go.
And just to be clear,
Nail gun's
Habitat for Humanity is a very well organized organization, and they do give you some guidance.
They tell
if
you what
ask
to
for
do.
it.
You're just gonna be like,
Yeah,
oh,
You
I
just
didn't.
feel like an idiot if you don't know what you're doing.
And you go there and don't expect them to trust you as much as they end up trusting you.
That's the big thing.
That's what it is. I did not expect them to trust me that much.
Because they don't know how stupid you are. They assume that you're not as stupid as you are. Because
But I did it-
not
I
as
did it
many
well.
not that many people are as stupid as we are.
I did it
Or
well.
maybe it's just easier to build houses than we all think.
I also think that's part of
That
it.
honestly is definitely
For,
part of it.
for a basic house, that's,
just like
that's definitely part of it.
It's just like a big puzzle, basically.
Just like
you know?
Lincoln
Big
Logs,
jigsaw.
dude.
Yeah,
With
Lincoln
some
Logs.
layers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
here's a layer of wood. Now
Okay.
there's some stuff that keeps like the cold
out.
air from getting
Dude,
out.
and
Here's
the
another
warming.
layer of wood.
Yep.
What the
brick or
most
whatever.
annoying thing was like I was there and they were like, "Is all good?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, my experience is in Legos, so I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm missing a 2-blocker over here."
Sure. Sure. Usually I'm only missing it's always the little caps. That
Yeah.
fuck
Oh,
me
dude, the
up, you know what
caps
I mean?
those piss me off.
I did
because
so
you're
much
lighting
all
up
the time.
lighting up the runway for
I was
the
a
plane.
huge Lego guy back in the day.
I did so many hours of Legos and
Me
Lincoln
too, dude.
Logs, man, for to end up with zero mechanical ability at all. Like I can't even hang a fucking like.
Could you hang a
frame
picture?
photo
You
on the
can't
wall.
hang a picture.
I can do it, but like,
Have you used a stud finder before?
yeah, I know how to stud find.
There you go.
When I
That's a
put
good
mine
start.
on Ross, it goes fucking crazy.
That will do it for today's show. But before you head out to take on the world, it's time for some very important announcements. First and foremost, you've been saddled with 3 legal obligations as a result of having listened to this entire podcast. The first of which is that you must rate and review. Please go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating, and write 2 or 3 sentences about why you love the show. Then check that box, and you can move on to number 2, which is to share this show with one person, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coworker, or a neighbor. You must share RBP with one person this week, one person next week, one person every week until the week you die. That is your second legal obligation. You can check that box and move on to number 3, your third and final legal obligation, which is to support our sponsors, to support us and keep us in business. This week you've got Athletic Greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/Ross for a free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs today. Yes, and then of course there's Flora. Go to gotflora.com.
CB dip.
Use that code RBP. Get yourself some CB dip. Those are your 3 legal obligations. Fulfill all 3. I can check all 3 boxes. Call off the dogs. We don't have to see each other in court, and we can all live long and prosper. We have social media. You may have heard of it. We're on Twitter and Instagram and even Facebook. On Instagram, it's at the Ross Bolen Podcast. On Twitter, at Ross Bolen Pod. Facebook.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. My name is Ross Bolen, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at the same name, at WRBOLEN, at WR Bolen on all 3. And then, of course, me and these 2 gentlemen play a lot of video games together on Twitch. You can find us and watch us at twitch.tv/bossrolen, BOSSROLEN. Christopher, where can everybody follow you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Q0ULS. You can find me on Instagram at ChrisSC99. And you can find me on Snapchat at Chris_Colson. That's COULSON.
Huzzah! Mr. Borislow over here has been doing some marketing consulting work for Bolen Media over the past month and change now. I guess we're in February 4th. Jared, thanks for joining us and co-hosting today as well. Just wanted everybody to know you're a little more involved than they may realize in the things that we do here. And share your social media, I suppose.
Well, the first thing I want to do is say a lot of people have always wondered why Ross's social handles is at WR Bolen, and it's because he was a high school wide receiver.
I was, and I really held on to that identity trait. I still consider myself to be a wide receiver.
I mean, dude, once a wide receiver, always a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Dude, once you're in, you can't get out. It's like a drug trade.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're selling Mucinex DM in the bathroom.
Also, closing statement. Do you think the people of Knoxville, Tennessee are stoked on our announcement what the year of? What the year is of?
Oh, no, Tennessee is a volunteer state as
Yeah.
a whole.
The
Yeah,
whole
not
state
even
of
just-
Tennessee. So not just Knoxville and Tennessee, University of Tennessee fans.
So we're a Tennessee podcast now.
Is it Tennessee University?
University of Tennessee.
University of Tennessee.
Great stadium. Neyland. Hell of a time.
Have you been?
100,000. Yeah.
I
It's like a
recently,
Coliseum, bro.
I recently claimed that Elvis's house was somewhere in Tennessee that it's
It's in
not.
Memphis.
I claimed Nashville, and that was
Opposite.
fun.
Put on
Well,
my blue suede shoes.
It was on the show, is what I mean. On the podcast, I was like, "Yeah, I've been in Nashville. I went to Elvis's house," and then at the end, it was like, "Hey, Elvis's house is."
Well,
in
what
Wait, so-
Memphis does have is one of the largest pyramids in the world. It's now
Bass
a
Pro
Bass
Shop.
Pro Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so what did you
see?
what house did you go to in Nashville?
Oh, I did. I went to Elvis's house in Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he just
So you just went to a random house like a guy told you his name was Elvis. And
You can follow
showed
me
up as that.
on
No, this was
Twitter
Graceland.
at Jared Borislow. That is at JaredBorisLow. You'll be able to differentiate it with all the other accounts because it's verified. Ross?
Oh, versus all the fake ones.
All the fake ones. You can follow me at Jared Borislow on Instagram as well. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SirJBone. Where I tweet. Wait, I don't tweet there. I Twitch there. Where I
You gonna
Twitch.
game with us tonight? You gonna play some
Yeah.
video games tonight?
I'm playing some video games tonight.
Looking forward to that.
Here's the deal, though. Follow me right now on Twitter specifically and Instagram at Jared Borislow. If you DM me on one of those, I will respond to you. Don't believe me? DM me, bitch. Sorry.
Wow.
Can I get a Discord drop?
Why did it end violently?
Man, you can get a Discord drop. If you DM me, I'll give you a Discord drop if you ask for one, too.
I saw Cardi B tweet out, "Some days it's okay to wake up and choose violence." Man, girls really like that take. It freaked me out. Like, way too many women retweeted that, and I was just like, fuck.
Dude, shouts to the song A Moment of Violence, Streetlight Manifesto. Big ska guy. If you like ska, DM me.
You just spoke gibberish to me. I didn't understand a single word you just said.
Ska, dude.
You're not a ska guy.
Ska is a brand of music, a genre of music.
Imagine this. Imagine you took your high school band kid friend and he had horny rage.
Oh,
That
Wow.
is ska.
We're going to take this full circle
sounds like a school shooter.
and tie it back to my cultural appropriation in college of the Jamaican peoples. Ska is a music genre that originated in Jamaica in the late 1950s and was the precursor to rock, steady, and reggae.
Yep.
Combined the elements of Caribbean, minto, and calypso with the American jazz and rhythm and blues.
Do you know the song A Message for You, Rudy? That's like the original ska song.
Ska is characterized by a walking bass line accented with rhythms on the offbeat.
A message for you, Rudy.
I might know that one, actually. I had a really big reggae phase like 2 years ago, so I probably listened to some of it.
Doesn't
back-
surprise me, Chris.
No,
I can see you being a big reggae guy.
that was the start of the awakening. Well, I saw
Who gets paid off Bob Marley now?
Ziggy?
probably his estate.
Ziggy. I
It's
forgot.
the only
he got
one.
a
It's
lot
the only son I know.
He
Whose
got
name I
kids
remember.
up
Damien.
doing stuff.
Damian Marley.
I've actually talked to Damian Marley's manager before because I tried to plan a music festival on the lake back home 2 years back.
I saw, and I'll. This is important to that. I saw one of the Marleys live with Nas at ACL, and it was one of the worst live performances I've ever seen of any genre in any type of music or film or acting or theater ever.
Worse than 21?
So maybe don't book any
No,
Marley
Ross,
children.
not as bad as when we saw ASAP Rocky at ACL on his birthday, and he showed up 30 minutes late and then
Just
did a 20-minute
shit-faced.
set, and he kept saying,
I'm
"It's
so
my
fucking-
fucking
I'm-
birthday."
He was like, I'm so fucking drunk. And we were like, us too, dude. But we came here to watch you do music.
and then he didn't play Wild for the night.
What? I think he was too fucked up. He
Yeah.
like literally got a couple songs off and was like, I love you, Austin. I love you, Dark Continent. Good night. That's from Ace Ventura. Like 3 people just went, I've seen that movie.
Yeah,
Worth
that was
it,
that was
Jared.
one of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Somebody the other day asked me.
Also, 21 Savage.
Yeah, I was
21,
gonna. I
21.
was curious on where those lined up together. Somebody the other day asked me what are Ross's like top movies of all time, and I was like, based on my gathering, the only ones that come to mind are like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the Muppets Christmas Movie, and that's really all
I've got
had.
one. I've got one.
Those are the top 2 I knew would be up there.
For the span of maybe a month, every single time I went to Ross's house, the only thing that would be on the TV is There Will Be Blood, and it would be playing the same scene where the oil rig explodes at full volume, and I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, this is actually true. This is like, usually Jared comes on and like makes up some bullshit about my life, and I'm like really annoyed because it's just some off fucking the wall joke. No, this is actually accurate. I think like 4 or 5 times in a row that he came over, I was watching There Will Be Blood, and I was just like, "What's up, Jared?" And he'd be like,
I can't hear
"Dude,
anything.
what is going on in here? Why is it turned up so loud? And why are you always watching this film?" I just really into that movie, dude.
It is a great movie. You got me to watch that one, and then I watched it, and yeah, it's a fantastic one.
I've abandoned my boy.
That's what got me
I've
to watch it.
abandoned my child.
Yeah. Also, that scene is incredibly loud. I felt really bad. I was watching it at like 2 in the morning, and I had
Oil
to
rig
mute the
exploding
TV.
scene it's literally
One of the loudest scenes in any movie ever
if you
made.
took the
Probably.
loudest point of any one movie, it's that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine what that would be like in theaters.
It's a lot. And and then it's just like people running around yelling for several minutes while oil rains from the sky, and it's dope.
Well, there's
That movie
also that
rules.
distorted, because like he goes like kind of weirdly deaf, so it's got that
Yeah,
distorted like
yeah.
high pitched whine to it all the time. And oh god, yeah, it gives me like PTSD thinking about it.
By the way, I haven't seen No Country for Old Men.
What?
It's been on my list for a long time.
We watched that in AP English actually, my junior year, and we like dissected it. Yeah,
Fucking
because
love that movie.
it's one of the only movies that the land itself is a character in the movie.
What is the big quote from that movie?
What?
There's like a big quote, right?
The land is a character?
Yeah, it plays its role as a character and like develops over the
You
course of
clearly
the movie.
watched this in AP English, because that's a take you'd only get in an AP
Yeah,
English
that's
class.
that's some
100%.
shit that
Well,
somebody
that was
wanted
the-
to
Did you have
that
sound
was-
smart
did you
made
have to
up.
color mark it?
What?
What the fuck?
You guys have to color mark?
What is color marking?
Color marking is when you take colored pencils and you have to mark in the literature like, oh, here's alliteration, here's cacophony, here
Hell
is. Shouts to everybody in IB
Never
out
I
there,
got
because
that.
you know what I'm talking
You're
about.
in IB.
AP English
was an
was
IB
the
guy.
only AP class they let me in,
Dude,
bro,
I'm
because
so
I couldn't do
sorry.
math
I
or
know.
like you know,
We'll,
spell.
we'll do an IB segment at some point. What a waste.
I almost
what a
went into
fucking
IB.
waste,
I
dude.
almost went
What the
to
hell is IB?
It's the International Baccalaureate program. It's a high school curriculum where you graduate with a high school diploma and an IB diploma, and you go into it thinking, wow, this is going to open doors for me. But really, you just do way too much work.
Yeah,
for
it's a
4
lot
years.
of work.
I remember people getting college credit in high school, and I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, definitely should have done that. I wish instead of taking AP classes, I would have done dual enrollment, and I would have been halfway through college as soon as I graduated. That was
the
so
issue for
stupid.
me is I wanted to be in college as long as possible.
Yeah, fuck that. I wasn't trying to get out of there.
Oh, fair. Good.
So
point. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, now looking back on it, I
Game
would have
done
been
changed,
done.
though.
I would have a
True.
degree in my back pocket.
Game done changed. Not so sure that it's the appealing thing that it once was. It's more like
really
a
not. It's more
COVID
just like-
festival.
Yeah.
You're just coughing on each other.
I'm so happy. I feel so bad for people
It sucks, man.
whose like freshman year was last year.
That's my
like,
sister.
They're freshman year, any year of it.
But
If
mostly
you were
freshman
in
year.
college during
Mostly
this, you got
freshman year.
fucked. There's no way around it.
But
Well,
they-
my sister,
yeah.
so when the pandemic started, she's a senior in high school. She misses her prom, graduation, and I mean, this happened for like so many people. Like prom, graduation, whole freshman year of college, pretty much. Crazy. Like so much.
yeah, the thing you have to put in perspective is it's like
people actually like
you caught
lost
that L,
everything.
but like most people didn't even ever have the opportunity to go to college. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
True.
take it with a grain of salt there.
And that does it for RBP 371. I'm Jared Borsel here with the Ross Bolen podcast.
No, we're gonna go 20 more minutes. I don't
Yeah.
have anything to do till Barrett gets here. What do you?
show?
I mean, you could go, but I'm gonna. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna head out. That will do it for RBP 371, produced by Grant Davis and Mike Moody Garcia. Sorry, Grant, I just burped during your name. Of Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We'll be back Friday, actually, on Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast for another ad-free premium edition of RBP. Start 2021 by supporting the pod you love with a minimum of just $5 monthly on Patreon in exchange for ad-free episodes on Fridays. No ads, more madness. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Remember, you are not alone. Podmen get paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Peace be with you. And also with you.